Your Majesty at your service. Welcome to Philippine Talks. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of my podcast, Part of the Solution. The past month has forced a shift in the minds of people all over the world. Although we are all eager to go back to a sense of normality, we all are coming to a global understanding that what we call normal is a world that is unequal for many. The global pandemic has amplified the issues that our world has, and they will no longer be ignored. There is a sense that the new normal people demand, especially once we come out of this pandemic, is a society that works for all people, especially those that have been discriminated for their natural physical traits. From a holistic point of view, we all know that there are various forms of injustices in this world. The injustice that has dominated the global conversation the past month is racial injustice. And to be more specific, racial injustice within the police force against Black people. As this issue of injustice has been highlighted for over a month, there is a natural thing that occurs with any highlighted issue that causes anger and divide. 1. Denial. 2. Anger. 3. Bargaining. 4. Depression. And 5. Acceptance. There will be those people that will look at racial injustice towards Black people and accept that that's the world we live in. There'll be others, and I assume that those of you who tune in are those people who will go beyond these stages and decide that you want to see change. Some people may feel that protesting and signing a multitude of petitions is not enough. In this episode, I want to focus on the power we as individuals have to bring about change we seek in terms of racial injustice in the police force. I want to focus on how we as individuals can be part of the solution. We should all hold ourselves accountable for our contributions to the problems that we seek to address and be part of the change and ultimately the solution. Regardless of how powerless we may feel, we all need to realize that we are all powerful as individuals and unstoppable as a collective. As individuals, we are powerful because we are all key members of our society, whether we are given value or not. Our time, energy, and money serve those who run our societies. The people at the top profit from the people at the bottom. What I'm essentially saying is that as much as we may feel that the 1% exploit the 99%, the power of the 1% relies on the 99%. If that's the case, if the 99% stop giving their time, energy, and money to the 1%, then the 1% would cease to exist and the power would be distributed differently and perhaps ideally be more balanced. In the same way that the 1% holds the power in the world, police hold the power in terms of maintaining law and order in our societies. Police institutions are a minority in comparison to the societies they serve, yet their power dictates the lives of the majority. Therefore, as the majority and as individuals of that majority, we need to make sure that the police in our societies serve us, the people, our families, and our communities. The policing system should work for everyone and not discriminate against specific ethnic groups. To combat structural and institutional change in the most peaceful and effective way, we need to understand how the police system works in a society that we live in. It is all good and well to learn about Minneapolis, but if you don't actually live there, it would be more beneficial to learn about your own city, your own town, and your own country. Once you have learned the system, it is important that you take your role as a citizen seriously. As citizens of any town or city or country, It is important to be involved in the policies and laws created to supposedly protect you and those within your society. Hold your leaders and police force accountable whenever there is a racial injustice. Report hate crime and don't suffer in silence. Demand reform and vote for people who reflect your values. You need to take an active interest in your police, as they're the ones that uphold law and order. If there are people and policies in the police force that directly and indirectly discriminate against Black people and other ethnic groups, institutional racism is in full force, because their bias and their prejudice is equipped with the power to do something about it. Throughout this process, it is important to decolonize your mind and free yourself from biases, thoughts, and ideologies that prevent you from negatively looking at people because of their ethnicity. In the past month, I have personally signed so many petitions, and I have been overwhelmed with the number of petitions that are out there. I had to adopt the mindset that if I am using my energy to use my phone every day, I can also share my energy to bring about change through signing petitions. It will never be exhausting to me to use my phone to bring about real change for real people. Posting on Instagram, talking with friends about the issues of racial injustice, or even speaking to you through this podcast is a way to bring awareness to these issues. After we've done talking, listening, sharing, and learning, it's important to take action. When we as individuals take it upon ourselves to make a difference in the society we live in, even if we are the only ones, we can truly sleep at night knowing we've done something for the greater good. Our contributions to racial equality in the police force will benefit the society you live in for people who look like you and people who don't look like you, and eventually dismantle institutional racism. The power lies in you. If you feel passionate about bringing change, then be about it. Take an interest in your community. Be a great citizen and make Black lives matter. If we all, as individuals, make these changes, we will undoubtedly, as a collective, see the change we seek. And most importantly, we will not be part of the problem, but be part of the solution. At the end of each episode, I address the Queendom. You, as an individual, have the power. Racial injustice towards specific ethnic groups is not an American problem. It's a human problem. Institutional racism in the police lies within its policies and people who work there. Take an interest in your local police force. Hold your local police force accountable. Report hate crime. Take your responsibility as a citizen seriously. Your contributions to change will make a difference for generations to come. Thank you so much for listening to Fair Queen Talks. See you next time.